Since Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All grocery services, welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kripa May Sita Devi Nasi from India, Tamil Nadu Mataji. All glories to assembled devotees. All praise to Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kripa May Sita Devi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Shri Prabhupada ji. Suicide is not justified. It is violation of nature's law. Nature gives you a certain type of body to live in it for certain days, and suicide means you go against the law of nature. You untimely stop the duration of life. Therefore, he becomes a criminal. Suicide is criminal even in the ordinary state of state laws. One cannot make suicide. Auckland, February 21st, 1973. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we're very fortunate to have His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji. Prabhuji will be enlightening us on the topic of the sacred vow of Margasish, session 11. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Haridas Varya Prabhuji, thank you for giving your valuable time and association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Prabhuji. Shall Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. First and foremost, thank you very much for that warm welcome and the quote by Srila Prabhupada. I welcome each and every devotee of Bhakti Sangha Japa group who has been constantly joining us for the series of the sacred vow of Margasish. So today we are going to continue our session. And before we start our session, we would like to pray to our predecessors, acharyas, preceptors, Guru Maharaj, and everybody to bless us abundantly so that our words and what we are hearing from the Shastras will move our heart and make us more devotional and make us grow our bhakti towards Krishna. So with that, we will offer our humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavis assembled on the call as well. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim YatkripatamahamVande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tatsat. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. I welcome you all once again to this series of lectures which we have undertaken to see from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam this beautiful pastime of the stealing of the garments of the gopis, where the gopis are participating in the vow of Margashisha. It's also known as the Katyayani Vrata. Of course, what we are doing is that we are seeing a very beautiful scripture or a poem which is given by Andal of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is known as Tiruppavai, and how she is following in the footsteps of the gopis, and she has transformed herself as a gopi. She has transformed her village, Srivilliputtur, as Vrindavan. Kali Yuga has become Dwapara Yuga, and her friends have become the gopis of Vrindavan. And she is completely participating in a similar kind of vow. And her intention is to get Krishna as the husband, as her husband. So, this journey is what we are seeing through these series and trying to find parallels with Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we have traversed quite a distance in this katha, where we saw the onset of Margashish, the permission given to the young gopis of Braja, Krishna being chosen as a security guard to assist them in the vrata. The vrata being going and taking bath in the cold waters of Yamuna. And once the permission is received, Andal is calling for action. She's defining the purpose of the vrata. She's defining what's the do's and the don'ts, the result, how to achieve it, and finally, whom it is intended to, and what are the limbs of devotional service. So, in this way, she very nicely describes about the purpose in the first 5 verses. They all disperse, promising that the next day they will assemble together and walk towards the ghats of Yamuna to take a royal bath and pray from their heart to achieve Krishna as their husband. However, when the next day arrives, they find that 4,99,990 gopis are available, but 10 gopis have not woken up. So while many gopis urge Andal to go ahead with the vrata, she insists that it's the parampara that we should leave no devotee behind. And the most important is to have the congregational chanting of the holy names, not the individual chanting of the holy name. So she wants to do a Nam Sankirtan with everyone and not even leave one devotee behind. So every day she wakes up one gopi. The first one woke up because she was a newcomer, and there was a distinct conversation with her, showing the signs of the breaking of the dawn and how the sun has risen and how she should join the party. The second day, she went and knocked on the door of a devotee who was maddened in love with Krishna, and she was coined as the mad girl. The third, which we saw last week, was a gopi who was favorite of Krishna. Krishna used to love her. Krishna used to take care of her, and hence being senior to them, all the gopis wanted her association. So now successfully they have awakened 3 gopis. And how many are left sleeping? 7 more are sleeping. So without further ado, they walk up to the 4th house, which is what we're going to discuss today. And the girl whom they are going to wake up today, the gopi whom they are going to wake up today, is a relative of Andal. She has a blood relationship. How that is so, we will see that in the verse today. So, my dear devotees, my simple plea is that as we go through these verses, please do not lose the context. The context is that on every single day, the 4,99,993 gopis, because 3 of them have already woken up, they are knocking on the door of the 4th gopi, hoping that she also joins the party. And they all go together on the ghats of Yamuna and take a bath with a vow to fulfill and with a desire in the heart to achieve Krishna as the husband. So, How are we seeing these verses? Through the lens of these 6 dimensions. The first dimension is the context setting, which we have already spoken about. What's the context? The second is the verse itself, which is spoken for waking up that gopi. Today's gopi is the relative. She is the daughter of the aunt of Andal. And we see the third dimension, which is about the Acharya's commentary. We see also how this verse can be very nicely correlated with the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the fourth dimension. The fifth dimension is we see how through Shikshashtakam and many other verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already included the essence of these verses in his Shikshashtakam. And finally, the sixth is the popular one for the devotees, where they try to identify the meanings of these shlokas through pictures, which gives us a very pictorial representation. And these pictures are drawn by Keshav, who is of Krishna for today fame. So let us go ahead and go to the first dimension of today's shloka, verse number 9, the context setting. As I said, 3 have woken up, the fourth one is sleeping. So 4,99,993 gopis are going and knocking on the door of the fourth gopi. What's the speciality of this gopi? Why is that she is the one whom they would like to associate with? While the previous gopi was the favorite one, this gopi is different. She is, of course, the favorite of whom? Of Krishna, but at the same time, she is favorite for Andal as well. Why is she favorite? Because here it says verse 8, but it's actually the verse number 9. So she's the favorite one of Andal because the one who is sleeping inside today is a relative of Andal. She is actually the daughter of aunt. That means the girl who is sleeping inside is the cousin of Andal. So we all know the cousin sisters are very close to each other. Maybe the blood sister might not know all those secrets, but a cousin sister sometimes in relationships are more in the relative of the families and the relatives. They are more closer to each other. But there is a very unique thing about this cousin sister who is sleeping inside. What is that? She is not going to answer back like the other 3 gopis. We saw in the previous verses that how when Andal presented the fact that the morning has arrived, the sun has risen, there was a back and forth. There were questions and answers. There were debates. There were interpretations. There were accusations or allegations to say, this is false, this is mimicry, etc. So there was a very active conversation which was happening from within the house and with the gopis who are standing outside. But in verse number 9, there's radio silence from inside. There's actually no conversation which is being spoken out from within the house. So it's a one-way communication which is going on. So it's all the effort which is coming from the gopis who are standing outside, and they are trying to wake up this girl who is sleeping inside. What's the difference? She's really asleep. While the other 3 girls, previously to this, we saw them that they were half asleep, half maddened in love with Krishna. They were seemingly enacting as if they are asleep, but they were not totally in the lap of sleep. They were acting that they are asleep. Hence, they were conversing with Andal. But this is not the case here. The girl inside is completely asleep. Not asleep in ignorance, but completely in remembrance of Krishna. She's a gopika. Let us not forget that she is in Vrindavan and she has completely surrendered herself unto Krishna. And she is constantly thinking about Krishna. And in that way, with that ecstatic mood, she's sleeping and she's having a sound sleep. And what's her speciality? Her speciality is that she's a very good chanter of the holy names. She is a very sincere chanter of the holy names. So, this is the context. Knock on the door. While there is no reply, Andal begins to say today's verse, which is verse number 9. And it is a call to action. It is requesting the girl within to wake up. And she addresses her as the daughter of my aunt. So let's look at today's verse. தூமணி மாடத்து சுற்றும் விளக்கரிய தூபம் கமலத் துயிலெனை மேல் கண் வளரும் மாமன் மகளே மணிக்கதவம் தாழ் திறவாய் மாமீர் அவளை எழுப்பிடோ உன் மகன்தான் ஊமையோ அந்நிற் செவிடோ அனந்தலோ மாப்பன் ரெந்துயில் மந்திரப்பட்டாலோ மாமாயன் மாதவன் வைகுண்டன் என்றென்று நாமம் பலவும் நவின்றேலோ ரெம்பாவாய். So in this beautiful verse, which is in Tamil, she is an expert in this language. Many times we see in the modern days that language is a barrier for us to understand. But Krishna is expert in all languages. In fact, this week while I was reading Ramayana, I came upon Sundarakand. And in Sundarakand, Hanuman reaches to Ashokavatika. In Ashokavatika, he is about to speak about the glories of Lord Ramchandra. And Hanuman is a Nava Vyakarana Pandita. He is ready to speak Sanskrit at the drop of a hat. But he is thinking now, if he speaks Sanskrit, Sita might think that Ravana has arrived because he is also a Sanskrit Pandita. He is also expert in Sanskrit. And Sita might think that Ravana has disguised himself as a monkey and he's speaking Sanskrit. So she might not take him seriously. So Valmiki says, Hanuman speaks Madhura Bhashanim. What is this Madhura Bhashanim? Madhura Bhashanim means the sweet language. Valmiki uses these words. Madhura Bhashanim. He uses a different dialect. Now Sita is from Sitamadi, which is almost near Nepal. Lord Ramchandra is from Ayodhya. Of course, they are from the spiritual world, but at least for this Leela, they are from Ayodhya, from Uttar Pradesh. So they speak chaste Hindi or Awadhi or Maithili. So they speak these languages. But Hanuman did not speak any of these languages. Hanuman spoke the language of Madhura Bhashanim. And the commentators like Govinda Raja, they mentioned that this language was none other than Tamil. The South Indian language of Tamil was utilized to narrate Rama's glories while sitting on top of the Sinshubhapa tree. And Sita was listening to it. Now a question might arise. How does Sita even know this language? While they were traversing, they did stay under the ashram of Agastya. And Agastya was well versed with the language of Tamil. And while they stayed there, they picked up the language and they were experts in speaking the language. So they picked up the language of Tamil. So Hanuman utilized this language. The reason why I'm saying about the language here is, many of us feel either we are from the northern part of India or we are from the other parts of the world. So why is it necessary to learn other languages? But if our object of love is Krishna and he is described in various languages, we should be more than happy to embrace those languages. And here Hanuman himself spoke in this language. So Andal, coming from the southern part of India, uses this Madhura Bhashanim, which is the language of Tamil. Nobody is imposing a language which is better than the other. Every language is Shrestha, is Uttama, as long as it is speaking about the Uttama Shloka, who is Krishna. Every language is wonderful as long as it is glorifying Krishna. So in these verses, we are going to see you using the Tamil language, but also trying to get to know the meaning and the translation of these verses. So what does this Tamil shloka mean? What is that Andal has narrated standing outside the door of Gopi number 4? Let us look forward. Thoomani Madattum Chutrum Velakariya. Please open the doors of your mind and heart and try to imagine the scenario that is being placed before us. Thoomani Madattum Chutrum Velakariya. The Gopi who is sleeping, she's sleeping in a mansion. And how is this mansion? This mansion is made of pure gems. Of course, there is a wall, there is a plaster, and there is concrete, there are bricks, but everywhere you can see beautiful gems which are studded on this mansion. There's actually no paint, but every inch of that wall is studded with gems. And because it is studded with gems, it's very illuminating. It's very effulgent by itself. And if it is effulgent by itself, then those who are outside, they will be able to see what's going on inside very clearly. Just like, suppose it's a dark night and you are standing outside a house. And if there is a bulb which is lit inside the house, and suddenly through the window, though it might be shut, you will be able to see what's happening within the house because of the light or because of the effulgence or because of the illumination. I remember once Badri Narayan Prabhu mentioning about this in Srila Prabhupada's diaries and memories. Srila Prabhupada in New York, he used to wake up early in the morning at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and he used to use his dictaphone and translate the Sanskrit texts and give his famous Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's purports. These purports were filled with ecstasy, and he had to think and translate from the Acharya's commentaries, and he used to give it very naturally. Hence, he had asked the devotees to be silent and not make much of noise. But every night, there was the duty of the brahmacharis to guard Srila Prabhupada so that nobody makes any noise. And he has a very peaceful atmosphere to translate these texts. So one day, His Grace Badrinarayan Prabhu was given this service, and he was pacing up and down outside the room, while the room where Srila Prabhupada was sleeping, it was completely dark. And Badrinarayan Prabhu was pacing up and down, chanting on his beads, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And suddenly he saw that the light was lit inside the room, and he could see everything very clearly. Srila Prabhupada getting up from the bed, wiping his face a little bit, walking over, arranging his desk, and sitting down, wearing his spectacles, taking the dictaphone in the hand. He could see these things very clearly because he was outside and there was this effulgent light which was lit inside the room. And Srila Prabhupada started speaking in that grave voice each and every time he read out those purports. And after reading the purports, he used to press the dictaphone and it used to clack. He used to go, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it used to clack. And he was watching this entire thing in front of his eyes, and he was feeling so grateful to see Srila Prabhupada in those close quarters. But as the time went by, he started becoming sleepy. So, Badrinarayan Prabhu, to wake up from the sleep, he started chanting very loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It was an effort for him to stay awake so that he could guard Prabhupada's quarters. But he did not know that he was somehow making this noise he was chanting, but it was disturbing Srila Prabhupada's translation efforts. So what did Prabhupada do? He couldn't see who was outside, so he took a glass of water and he just threw it outside, and it fell down as an abhishekam on top of Badrinarayan Prabhu. And Prabhupada said, "Who is there? Slow it down." And Prabhupada wanted to concentrate on these. So this beautiful pastime is a remembrance that how, if a light is lit inside, one can see everything very clearly. So here, Tu mani madattum chutrum vilakariya. The house is not having one light. It is having so many gems. The mansion is fully bedecked with gems. On top of that, inside the room, there are many, many lamps which are lit. And where are these lamps lit? Around the couch on which this Gopika is actually sleeping. This Gopi is sleeping on a couch which is also embedded with gemstones, and very rare gemstones, and all of them are sparkling and they are bedazzling to look at. And around those are lots of lamps. And what else is there? There is good aroma of scented sticks which are burnt. There is aguru, there's perfume, which is the gandha, the perfume, the fragrance is emanating from those scented sticks, agarbattis, or the aguru, which is burning in the room. And how do they know it, the gopis? Because they could get the fragrance of the scented sticks. And what is the gopi who is inside? What is she doing? She's lying down on the soft mattress, which is so soft that anybody who just rests on that mattress immediately goes to sleep. It's that soft. It's so feathery. It's so wonderful that you don't have to put an effort to go to sleep. So Andal is saying the gopi who is sleeping on the couch, which is naturally so resting and so soft that it will put you to sleep, which is embedded with jewels and which is surrounded by a lot of lamps, and there are agurus and scents, which are scented sticks which are burning, and all this is inside a mansion which is also embedded with jewels. Why are you sleeping? But as she says this, there is no return conversation. Nobody is speaking back. And all the gopis thought when they say like this, when they call out for this gopi, she will reply. But to their surprise, there is absolutely no reply coming from within. So hence, Andal for a split second, and my dear devotees, these two words are very, very important in this context, in this verse. What are those two verses? Two words, Maman Magale. That means she says, "Oh, daughter of my aunt." I have marked it in green. Please understand that Andal is completely transformed herself into a gopi. She is thinking that she is in Vrindavan. But for a split second, she comes out of that transformation and says, "You are the daughter of my aunt. I am Andal." That means for a split second, she has taken back and come back to the roots that she is from Srivilliputtur. While the whole situation is saying that she's a gopi in Vrindavan, but for a split second, she comes back and says, "You are the daughter of my aunt." But in the next second, she says, "No, I'm back to the gopi. Please lift the latch of the door." And that door is also studded with gems. Everything is gems today. And it's a gem of a verse as well. And she is calling out to this gopi to say, "You are my cousin. You are the daughter of my aunt. Lift the latch. Open the latch which has gems studded upon them. Why don't you lift it? Why don't you open the doors? And why don't you join us?" Still, there is no reply. Then she calls out, she sees through the window, all the gopis, because the fragrance is so strong, they open the windows and they see this beautiful mansion, gem embedded mansion and this room full of lights. They are very dazzling. And they say and they see that this daughter, this cousin of theirs, is actually sleeping and she's not awake. And next to her is her mother. Or, in other words, the aunt of Andal is sitting right next to that gopi. So she calls out now to the aunt, not to the gopi. She says, "Hey, aunt, oh, aunt, why don't you awaken your daughter? Isn't that your daughter? Can't you see your daughter is asleep and it's already Brahma Muhurta time and we are all going to take bath? She should come along with us." And the aunt is saying, "Why are you asking to me? You call out to her." And Andal is saying, "I can't call her out because she's not listening to me. So you are the aunt who is right there next to her. Call her, wake her up, arouse her, get her up off the bed, tell her to join our party. Why is she still sleeping?" And she asks many reasons. What is the reason for her sleep? Can't she hear us? Is she dumb? Or is she deaf? Or she is ill with a disease that she is sleeping? Or is it that there are some guards who are stopping her and not allowing her movement, not allowing her to get up, indirectly indicating that is there Krishna in the bedroom who is actually saying, "Gopi, don't go." So Krishna plays such pranks. So they're indicating, is there Krishna inside that we don't know? Because this fragrance is not only of the scented sticks, it's also of Krishna's tulsi. So we are a little confused. Why is she still sleeping? Or is it that she's under a spell? Or somebody has cast a spell to make her make her sleep for a long time? What's the reason of her sleep? Please tell me. And the aunt says, okay, even if she wakes up, what is that she's supposed to do? And they say, we are supposed to sing and glorify the names of Krishna. What are the names that you are calling out? And she says the names of Krishna, that he's a Mayavi. He's the Lord of all mystics. He's Yogeshwara. He is also known as Madhava because he carries Mother Lakshmi in his heart. And because he carries Mother Lakshmi in his heart, he always stays in her house in the Milk Ocean. And hence he is also known as the Vaikuntavasa, the Lord of Lakshmi. And he is the resident of the heavenly abode. And he's very, very fond of his wives. And don't you know, we are also trying to become his wife. We are also trying to get him as our husband. So why are you sleeping? Let us all sing together and please come out. And let us see that you are also joining in our troop. So in this way, the verse and the translation, the second dimension, the first half is speaking about how beautiful her mansion is and what is the scenario inside her room. And the second part of the shloka is to say, you are the daughter of my aunt. Please get up. Why are you asleep? Are you dumb? Are you deaf? Are you ill? Are you sleeping out of tiredness? Are you really sleeping without knowing what's to be done? Or somebody has cast a spell on you. Why don't you get up? And the third part of the shloka is to say, we are singing the glories of the Lord. Why don't you come and join us? So while this is the essence of the call to wake up, did she really wake up? Did she really open the door? What did the aunt say? For all that, we have to look into the third dimension. What is Acharya's commentaries on this? Let's look at one by one. The first one mentions that this mansion is bedecked with jewels. And not only it's bedecked with jewels, everywhere you see the house of this gopi has these beautiful lamps which are lit everywhere. And there's no paint in that house. Every single wall is bedecked with gems, rubies, and none of these gems have any dirt on them. They are pure gems. So the acharyas mention the importance of lighting lamp. In one house, in one devotee house, when I went, and it was the evening time around 6:30 p.m. Generally the sun sets at that time, and it's a custom, it's a ritual, as well as it's a good practice to light the lamp in our altar, to light the lamp and do the Sandhya Arti, to do Tulsi Arti, like how Srila Prabhupada has set these standards. So it's important to light the lamp, put the oil, put the wick, and light the lamp. So one day when I went to this devotee's house, I observed that there was a switch in the altar, and all the person did was he switched on the altar, and the bulb went on, and the altar was lit. And I was thinking that now the lamps will be also lit. But the lamps were never lit. The lamp was there, but it was not lit. So I happened to ask this question to the devotee, why are you not lighting the lamp? So the answer was that the lamp is for illumination. But now I have these three bulbs, and this bulb is giving me immense amount of light. And hence, what is the use of lighting the lamp? So that is where this particular verse came into my mind. Tumani Madattum Chuttum Vilakkariya, which says that the gems are like the bulbs, but still this gopi has lit lamps everywhere. And Andal says lighting lamps are important because they are auspicious. Mangala. The electric lamps give us illumination, but the oil, the wick, and the strike of the matchstick and giving fire and putting the lamp on or lighting a lamp in front of Krishna, like how we do for Damodar Arati, we light a lamp. It's very important that it is auspicious in nature. So lamps are signs of auspiciousness. And Srila Prabhupada has used this in his Back to Godhead magazine. That illumination is there, and there is no nations where there is Godhead is light. But there is also auspiciousness aspect by lighting a lamp. Om Agyana Timiran Dasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya. So this darkness is removed by light. And that light is given by the light of knowledge, given by Guru. And that instruction which comes from the spiritual master is all auspicious, Mangalam. So lighting a lamp in every altar in front of our deities is very, very important. It's a very devotional act. And every day, if you go to the southern or the northern part of India, it's a common practice in every household that as soon as the sun sets, they will switch on the lights. In fact, in the southern part of India, they will even open the door a little bit. They will not keep the doors closed, so that if there are any guests who want to take or participate in the aratis, they can walk in. At the same time, if there are anybody who needs to see the deities, they can walk in because it's arati time and the lamps are also lit. So this is a common practice, but nowadays this is slowly going away with artificial lights. But in this verse, Andal clearly mentions that the gopi was very aware of lighting a lamp, and she had lit these lamps. And Andal also speaks about these gems which are bedecked on the mansion. These gems are pure gems. They are not gems which are dirty, which indicates that the gopi who is actually sleeping inside is not a sadhaka devotee who has attained back home, back to Godhead. She is an eternally liberated soul. A cleaned gem or a dirt gem which is cleaned and then embedded, the acharyas mention, is like a sadhaka who have attained the supreme abode through their practice and mercy of the Lord. But this gopi who is actually lying inside the mansion, on the couch, on the sleepy couch, she's actually an eternally liberated devotee. She's like a Nityasuri. She's like always eternally serving the Lord and eternally, constantly remembering the Lord. So that is why these gopis want the association of such a devotee. So while she's sleeping with the lamps are all lit, Andal would like to speak about the bed. How fortunate is that bed? How fortunate is the girl who is sleeping on that bed? Because that bed is so soft. That mattress is so soft. The pillow is so soft that even if you don't want to sleep, you don't have to put an effort. You will naturally go to sleep. So the bed which causes sleep naturally, and it is so soft that the girl is sleeping on it and she's fast asleep. But they are astonished at that sleep. They're saying, how can you sleep, my girl? My cousin, how can you sleep on that bed? Why? What is the problem? Because all the gopis say we cannot sleep. Because when we go to bed, we are away from Krishna, and that separation is like fire. It feels like the cotton on the bed and the cotton and the silk have caught fire, and we are feeling the burn of the fire when we are going to bed, because we are not having Krishna with us. And they're saying that, but we still respect you, because it seems that you are surrendered unto Krishna, and Krishna is fully merciful unto you, and that is why you are able to sleep. But look at us. We are not able to sleep. And how do they compare this? They say that when we walk in the forest, when Krishna has taken all the cows and the calves to Vrindavan, and we can't see Krishna anywhere in Vrindavan, there is a pleasant breeze which comes from the Kadamba trees. And it carries this fragrance. But when it touches us, we feel as if it's a heat wave, because Krishna is not to be seen anywhere. So the cool, pleasant breeze of Vrindavan, we are feeling it like a heat wave which is hitting us. And when the night arrives, the cooling moonlight which falls on us, we feel like it's a sunstroke. We feel the heat of separation, and the moonlight feels like a sunstroke. And the lotuses which are put on the bed, and the bed which is like as soft as the lotus petals, it feels like it's a hot oven. We are not able to sleep. But this is our condition. But we are surprised as we see through the windows, we see this wonderful mansion, and you are fast asleep. And this is very true. Even in the Ramayana, we see Mother Sita. She, while staying in Ashoka Vatika, looks at the moon and she says, the moon, why are you not burning Lord Ramchandra as well, just like you are burning me now? The moon's ability is not to burn, but to give cooling light. But Mother Sita is saying that it seems like you are burning me because I am burning in separation from Lord Ramchandra. Why don't you go and burn Lord Ramchandra in the same way? Why are you being like this? In this way, she is thinking about her fate. So these gopis are asking this question, that how come you are asleep while we cannot even go to sleep? And they keep speaking like this, but there is no reply. The girl gives no reply. She's asleep. And for that moment, they call her aunt out, who is standing next to her inside the mansion. And all the gopis urge Andal that you please call the aunt out and ask her help to wake this girl, wake up your cousin. And if your aunt wakes up your cousin, she will join us in Nam Sankirtan. But the question is, why does Andal feel that the woman who is standing next to the gopi is her aunt? Because there are various relationships. One who gives us the skill and the seed is the father. One who tolerates all our mistakes is a mother. One who makes us win is an elder sister. Okay, quote unquote. I do not know how many follow that, but generally it is said poetically, one who makes us win is our elder sister. One who wins whenever we are in trouble is our elder brother. One who is born after us is a younger brother. And one who helps us like a limb is called as the younger sister. And one who carries our name is a grandson. Of course, even today, the grandfather's name is given to the grandson. So, like this, the relationships also have certain responsibilities. But why is that she is not using a father, a mother, a sister, brother, younger sister, younger sibling, elder sibling, or any of those relationships, but she is calling out as an aunt? The reason is the relationships of maternal uncles and aunts are more sweeter. I still remember when I went to the Vyas Puja Mahotsav of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and I paid my obeisances. And it is his very wonderful nature that His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, when he sees there are his disciples and there are disciples of his fellow God brothers, he will first ask, how are the disciples of the fellow God brothers? How are they faring? In fact, it is a common theme that we see across all spiritual masters or disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Before they take care of their disciples, they will see if there are other well-wishers and guests. They will first ask, how are they? And this actually moved me. And when I asked this question, that Maharaj, why is that there are so many senior and very exalted disciples, and they are all here, and you could ask about their welfare, but you are more interested in the disciples of your God brothers? And his answer was, the uncle is always sweeter than the father. The father might be sometimes strict, and the father might be sometimes punishing, but the uncle is always the savior. And this kind of resounded in me, and I remembered this shloka as well, that the uncle and the aunt are more, ideally, in a good family, in a spiritual family, the uncles and the aunts and the cousins are more closer than the immediate family, immediate brother, immediate sister. And that is why in a lot of rituals, the uncle and the aunt, whether it's a vivaha ceremony, whether it's the vivaha patrika ceremony, in all of these, the aunts and the uncles are given more respect, and they are called out and they are brought forward for all of these samskaras. So here she is calling out there, you're more close to me. But there is a question which can be asked, that why is that she coming out of this thought process of being a gopi back to an andal? Andal here wants to showcase the importance of being in the bloodline of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is such a great fortune if we are following in the footsteps by our activities. And also it's a great fortune if somebody is through their blood and through their lineage is connected to great personalities. It's a great fortune. Of course, one has to act in that way. One has to follow in their footsteps. Just by the seminal principle, one cannot be connected. But one has to understand that an individual is very fortunate if they are connected by family lines, hereditarily, to great devotees. In this connection, we see a very nice pastime that Ramanujacharya, when he was taking his sannyas ashram, he was standing amidst the water, and he was saying that I am leaving everything. I'm leaving my grihastha I am leaving my clothes. I'm leaving my attachments. I'm leaving my wife. I'm leaving all the designations. Now I am a sannyasi. I am leaving everything except two personalities whom he calls as Mudalayandan and Nadarul Alwan. They are the grooms. And everybody is like, why are you attached to these two boys? What is the reason? Why are you attached to them? He says they are great devotees of the Lord. And because they are great devotees of the Lord, I don't want to lose their attachment. I am not attached to them on a material standpoint. I am attached to them as a spiritual standpoint, because the Lord is very beneficial. The Lord is very munificent to them. The Lord is very merciful to them. And hence, I would like to be attached to them. as in their bloodline. So this is Ramanujacharya's mood, and Andal is like sister to Ramanujacharya. How is that possible? Andal came in 8th century, Ramanujacharya came much, much later. This we will see in one of the pasurams. Please note it down, that how Ramanujacharya becomes the brother of Andal. So one devotee said, Ramanujacharya has really not taken sannyas. And they say, why is that so? Because he still has relationships. What relationships? Her sister is none other than the pure devotee Andal. He has grooms whom he has attached with. His younger brother is his Embar. His own son is none other than Lord Narayan of Melukkotte, who is known as the Cheluva Narayana. And his knowledge is successor is Vadaganambi. All these disciples, all the peers of Ramanujacharya are his real kith and kin. So he's still attached to all these devotees. In a positive way, it is said that if we have devotees, pure devotees, in and around us, and we are in their family lines, this is a great fortune. It is a great mercy of the Lord. So Andal here, for a split second, she wants to be connected by bloodline to this great devotee of the Lord who is sleeping inside. She says, open the latch. Why have you closed the door? Wake up. Open this latch, which is gem-studded, which is bedecked with jewels. And the aunt says, why don't you open it up? And Andal says, I can't open it up. I can't open it up because the latch, which is latched from inside, we are like this body, and our gems are our qualities of I and mine. And it's a bedecked latch. As soon as our ego, our ahankar, which is like gems, which we treat as gems, our ego, our ahankar, our pride, our designation, these are gems and these are like a latch. We can't open it. All we need is an acharya, a guru, a person who knows these, and he opens up this lock by giving us the lamp of knowledge. And hence they are asking the aunt, you open the latch out for us. Because we are dumb, we are deaf. How many times we hear, we don't understand. So you instruct us. You become the spiritual master and instruct us. And you tell us, wake up from this slumber so that we can awaken from our sleep. And there is also a science behind this. If you have ever observed a room of mirrors, if you go to Delhi, there is Sheesh Mahal, or Agra or Delhi, I guess. In Sheesh Mahal, if you speak from outside, you can't hear. You'll be able to see everything which is happening, but the mirrors obstruct the sound. So you need internal help to wake up a person or to pass the message on. So they call out to the aunt and say, hey, aunt, wake her up. Seems like she's deaf, she's dumb, she's lazy, or she's asleep. She can't hear us. And maybe she's asleep because of tiredness, or maybe she's drugged, maybe she's dreamy, or maybe she's unconscious, or somebody has actually cast a spell on her, or somebody is stopping her from waking up. Aunt gets very worried. She comes out of the house. She opens the latch. She comes out of the house and says, shh, say slowly. Why are you calling out these names about my daughter? She's of a marriageable age. Back then they were married early. So she said, why are you telling the whole world she's dumb, deaf? She's none of that. She's excellent girl. All her faculties are working. Why are you calling her out like this? She's a marriageable age. Don't defame her. And Andal says, where are we defaming her? We are calling her and she's not waking up. He said, what names are you calling? You're calling her name. Her name, she will not get up. She's a sincere chanter. She only gets up to chant and take part in Sankirtan. So you should call out the names of the person, why she should get up. And here is the instruction, and Andal starts saying, okay, fine, then I will actually call out those names. But then there could be a question that, can anybody cast a spell and put a person to sleep? Andal uses this word here. And this we can see in Ramayana. When Hanuman went to Ashoka Vatika, he saw all the Rakshasis and he put them to sleep by telling a mantra. And this was stated by Kamba Ramayana. But Valmiki never mentions it. But when this was spoken by Kamban, Kamban was asked this question: how come you are saying that Hanuman put all the Rakshasis to sleep in Ashoka Vatika by a mantra? This was never spoken by Valmiki. Is this possible? Then they quoted this verse. That by a mantra seems like that Gopi was asleep. Andal has said this in 8th century. Then they said, if Andal has said, it might be true. So in this way, the aunt comes outside and says, don't defame her. What names should you call out? And they say, call out the names of the Lord. He is the master of all yogic mystics. He's the master of mystics. He is the Yogeshwara. He's the Mayavi. And he puts us in a spell. But then one Gopi asks, how come he puts all of us in a spell? How come he casts this spell and mysticism on us? Where has he got this training? And they say, because he's Madhava. He has got this training because he's constantly associating with Mother Lakshmi and with other gopis. And this gopi who is sleeping inside, he's got expert training. And he, because of this, he's always residing in Vaikunta. But let me tell you that he is very fond of the Vraj gopis. And he is Madhava, he is Keshava. So let us all sing his names. And when they shout the names of Krishna as Madhava, the gopi who is sleeping inside wakes up. But Prabhuji, you just said that no sound could go inside. But this is not ordinary sound. This is mantra. Manaha trayate iti mantraha, the holy name. It pierces even the great coverings of the heart, which is, it shackles all the dirt. And this mantra chanting wakes the girl up. And when they say that we will chant like this repeatedly and hence we will go to the Yamuna Ghat, she also comes outside. And she says, this is what I was waiting for. I don't know what you spoke before, but when you started chanting the holy names, here I am standing right in front of you. The aunt is happy, the cousin is very happy. So in this way, in the 4th house, the 4th gopi also wakes up. She doesn't answer any question back, but Andal calls her out as her own cousin. Very beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam connections we see that how in the 6th canto, right? Anybody who has developed unalloyed devotional service, Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. So by devotional service, Kechit Kevalya Bhaktaya, Vasudeva Parayanaha, Agham Durvantik Kashnena, Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. Just like the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays, just by discharging the devotional service, all the dirt can be removed. And what are the power of the holy names? Even if 6.2.14 in Ajamila's pastime, we see that if somebody even mentions the holy names like Madhava, Keshava, they call out these holy names, either indirectly or directly, or either as parihasa, even jokingly, or with the accompaniment of musical instruments, or even neglectfully. This is all accepted by the scholars of the scriptures. And Ajamila called in that way. In the same chapter of stealing of the garments of the gopis, in 22.8, Krishna is indicated as the master of all mystic yoga. And that's what Andal calls him here. Mayanai, she calls him as the master of mystics. And here Prabhupada writes, the supreme personality of Godhead and master of all masters of mystic yoga. Look at the number of times he mentions, master of all masters of mystic yoga. Was aware what the gopis were doing. So that means she's saying Krishna knows what we are doing. And thus he went there surrounded by his young companions to award the gopis the perfection of her endeavor. So she's saying that he is a mystic, he knows what we want, and hence he will come and give. So please come, wake up. So in this way, there are so many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam where we see this beautiful description. Quickly talking about the Gaudiya inspirations. Holy names, this is what we are talking about. We are almost crossed the first 10 verses and we are still in the 2 verses of Shikshashtakam. How great is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has put all the meanings of all these verses of Tirupavai within Shikshashtakam, if we try to see. She is trying to glorify, Andal is trying to glorify how the holy names of Krishna will give them all auspiciousness. And she says constantly we should chant this name. In the last line of that pasuram, of that verse, she says we should constantly engage our tongue and chant these holy names and relish these holy names. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tattar Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. There are hundreds and millions of names like Krishna, Govinda, Keshava, Madhava. And only these names can render all benediction to all living beings. And because of that reason, you have hundreds and millions of names, oh my Lord. And in these names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. So in this way, this verse, we can see the inspiration of Shikshashtakam. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita shloka is also true. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Patro Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhwaritir Matir Mama. He is the master of all mystics, Mayanai. That word is also repeated here, 1878, the last shloka. And wherever Krishna is the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So in this way, this verse gives us a very beautiful description of the gem-studded mansion, of the girl who is sleeping on the gem-studded bed, which is soft in its mattress, with lamps lit everywhere, with the scent of the scented sticks, the fragrance, and she's fast asleep. It seems she's like deaf, dumb. She's not hearing the calls of these gopis, but then there is an urge to the aunt to wake her up, and the aunt urges them to chant the names of the Lord. And when they do chant the Nam Sankirtan, the girl wakes up and joins them. So in this way, we see that now there are 499,994 gopis who have woken up and they are on their way to take a bath to Yamuna. And still, there are 6 gopis who are asleep. So what will the next gopi say? For that, we have to come next week and see what is the 5th gopi, what is her characteristic, how is she related to Andal, what is her reply going to be, is she going to speak? All of this we will see next week. But before we close out, quickly in the next 5 minutes, we will see the same verses in the pictorial format. You can see picture number 1 to the left. Those who can see specialized parts of this picture and relate to the meanings that we have learned today, please raise your hand and speak in turns. Hare Krishna. So those who are seeing the left side of the picture and they are observing something special, or they can relate, please go ahead. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
The lamp that is shining.
The lamp that is shining. Very nice. Okay.
In all sides. Yeah, I'll let the others go.
Okay. Others, please. Anybody else that you can see? Who is this?
Mother,
The
aunt, the mother of the girl.
Okay, very good. What is this?
The aguru.
Fragrance.
The incense sticks.
Okay.
Very good. Very nice. And what is this? This peacock?
It's the bed
It's the royal bed in
Royal
which she's
bed, yeah.
sleeping. Perfect. And this shows that this is the room inside. Okay, very nice. Thank you. This shows that it's a soft mattress. Let's go to the next picture in the interest of time. Yes.
Gem-studded walls.
Gem-studded walls. Very nice. It's all resplendent. What is this around Krishna?
It's the fragrance. Looks like the arati actually. The lamps are going around him. So is that the arati?
Yes, you can say it like that. The artist wants to say that there are so many qualities of Krishna which are like illuminous in itself. Krishna has many, many qualities. Okay, that's also a part. Okay, what are these? The parrots on the top. How many are there?
Four.
And the parrots stand for?
The acharyas?
And
Shakdev.
Chokdev, yeah.
and the
Acharyas.
scriptures.
Yeah.
And there are 4 scriptures of the Vedas.
Yeah,
The Vedas
Vedas.
are extolling about the qualities, the gem-like qualities of the Lord. So they are constantly tweeting the qualities of the Lord. Who is this here?
That's Andal.
Andal, yeah. Looks
That's
like
Andal. And what is she doing?
she's meditating on the Lord in her heart.
Correct. That's also right. She's meditating on the Lord and she's saying, please. And why? What does this mudra actually mean? She has got 3 fingers outside and one like this, and she's right at the door.
Chin mudra. Yan mudra.
It's the latch. Open the latch of me and mine. It's right at the door. Open this latch so that I can access the Lord within. So it's very pictorial, but very wonderful way of representing the latch. Going to the next one, towards the left. Again, 4 parrots.
The 4 Vedas.
Very correct, the 4 Vedas.
And Vyasdev.
Vyasdev, or the spiritual master, meditating on the Lord, who is known as the Vaikuntha Vasa. Very nice. Where is she sitting?
Lap of
It's
Mother Lakshmi? Looks, I don't know.
She is actually, this is like a bedstead where Andal is saying and requesting. This is also the aguru, or the fragrance, or the incense. That's why you see the fragrance like meditation of the spiritual master. Very pictorial. And you can see Madhava and Krishna both interested in the girl. And they want, yes, Lakshmi is here. Lord Vaikunthanatha is here. This is more clearer on the right side. You can see all personalities. How many personalities of Krishna do you see here? How many Krishnas? How many personalities do you see? 3. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this?
Madhava, Vaikuntanath, and
The
Krishna.
mystic Krishna, the Mitra Yogeshwara Krishna. And Mother Lakshmi here. The lamp is here. The fragrance is out here. Quickly going to the next one in the interest of time. Yes, beautiful picture on the left. There are so many things to see. Yes, I want somebody to raise their hand. And
The aguru, the bedstead, the aunt.
the
No, not the
aunt.
aunt. No, it's Andal. Okay. Yeah.
Andal is here outside.
The 4 Vedas, the 4, and then the Lord on top.
And these 4 Vedas,
Acharyas.
what acharyas, and they are like, you see a little bit on the top. What are they like?
Lamps.
Lamps. Very true. And what's this?
The latch. Huh?
The latch. Opening of the latch so that we can access Krishna. And what's this pastime?
Draupadi.
Why is
Draupadi.
Draupadi's pastime? And Draupadi, he's giving his turban, the part of this cloth of his turban to Draupadi. But why? What does this pastime indicate?
Holy name. If you call out to him, he will help.
Okay. Anything else? For Dushasana, what was this act? It was a mystic act. He's the Lord of Mystics.
Mhm.
So from that perspective, this too shows the gems in and around, the lamps in and around, two swans, and also the Lord resting. And Krishna is the mystic Damodara,
Mm.
who created 2 inches short, and he is also the Vaikuntavata with Madhava, with Mother Lakshmi in his chest. Very straightforward. Last picture of the day, and we close here. We see the same in different formats. You see the beautiful bedecked jewels, and a lot of acharyas, a lot of scriptures, a lot of parrots here. And the fragrance, Andal, the aunt, the girl, and the Lord in Vaikuntha. So thank you very, very much, my dear devotees. That concludes the 9th verse number 9, and we will stop here. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam satpurayantu tat, yadatra saushtubam kinchit tat guru revamenahi. If there are any corrections, mistakes, those are truly mine, and please correct them. You're all Panditas. But if you found something nice, all glories go to the spiritual master and all the acharyas. Thank you very, very much. And we will meet the next week with verse number 10. But if you have any questions, comments, clarifications, critiques, feedbacks, more than welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Haridas Varya Prabhuji, thank you so much for explaining verse 9 so wonderfully in such depth. Very, very grateful to you. Very interactive class. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead and share. Preeti Vilasni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare
Very
Krishna.
interesting class. Thank you so much. I was just curious. I don't know why. I was thinking, why is, Andal says it's her cousin. So is there any name given to that gopi? Or it's just mentioned cousin, that's all?
That's all. It's mentioned as
Okay.
cousin.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have to read commentaries to see. Like the previous one was Krishna Priya. We don't know the name here.
And the previous was mad also, right? Taitya or
Yeah,
something.
the maddened girl.
Mhm.
So the first gopi was attracted towards Nam Sankirtan. She was a newcomer. The second gopi was attracted towards Satsanga. The third one was attracted by Smaranam. That means she was constantly meditating on the Lord. And the fourth gopi today, she's attracted by the holy names. So these are the qualities of the gopis. Each one has a different character.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, for a beautiful question and beautiful explanation. Dear devotees, anybody else who would like to go? If you have any questions or realizations? Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if there are no more realizations, I would like to thank His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your valuable
Thank
time
you.
and association this morning. Looking
Thank
forward to your association next Friday. I would like to pay my obeisances to His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji and all the simple devotees. Do I have your permission to close the call, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure. Hare
Pancha
Krishna.
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji ki jai. Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, dear
Thank you.
devotees, for joining
Krishna.
us. Looking forward to the next session next week.